Hi everybody, I am Kelly from sheepdreamery.com and this is my podcast. Welcome. Today is August 1st and it is 2:15 in Cincinnati, Ohio. It is a lovely sunny day outside and it is, I don't know, like 80 degrees. So it's nice. Pardon my hair. I know I look insane today. It's my harried housewife look. So, let's see, where did I leave off last week? I don't know. I'm pretty sure I was saying that things were better. Alright, we'll get into that part later. Talking about my shop. I still have items on Etsy. I do not have everything on sheepdreamery.com yet, but it's coming. It is coming. So that's exciting for me anyway, to be able to get off of Etsy and be able to not get charged for BS. Plus they have a really, really terrible search engine. Terrible. So I don't want to play their reindeer games anymore. So hopefully by next week we'll have everything over to sheepdreamery.com. I'm not going to put out a date because then I would be burdened with having a date to have to finish something. And I'm a procrastinator, so I would rather procrastinate than leave people feeling disappointed. But sometime this month. So yes, please feel free to buy some stuff in the store, get it out of my inventory, because then it's one less thing that I have to put up on the new store's website. I mean, it's not that hard, but saves my fingers for knitting instead of keyboard work. You know what I mean? So that is all of my shop news. That's all of that. I did do a custom order on Sunday. Somebody had requested a custom order, and I'm waiting to hear back from them if they actually want to buy it now. Haven't heard back yet, so I don't know. So I will do custom orders if you send me a picture of what you like. I can do that. What else? Okay, so in my week of knitting, off the needles, of course not finished because I never sew in ends. But here's my west loop that I finished, and this is in my Arundel yarn. It's a Stephen West pattern, and it is supposed to be bigger and magnificent and whatnot, but I was so bored knitting it, I decided stop and just be done with it, because there are no knitting police. If you're just doing the same repetitive thing over and over again, I think you're allowed to stop whenever you want to. I think it makes a decent size. So, I was like, forget it. But, yeah. These are 3 different colorways. And it's very soft, I must tell you. It's very soft. The other thing that I've been working on is a sweater designed by Thea Coleman, and she is one of my most favorite sweater designers ever. This is the Bombay Sapphire. Here, I'll get it up close so you can see. This is the Bombay Sapphire sweater. It's a top-down Raglan, and I'm doing this in Cascade 220 that I got at Webb's when they were having their sale in April to May. So I got, what, 5 skeins of yarn for $25. It was a good deal. And Webb's is having a sale right now, and they have Cascade 220, but it's in Quattro. And Quattro is kind of marled colors, but I'm considering, because how can you turn down $5 worth of wool yarn? I don't know. Okay, if you convince yourself that you shouldn't be spending money, then yeah, I can see how you could convince yourself not to spend money. It's a problem for me. So, that's what I'm working on. And starting on next Monday, I'm doing something awesome. I am taking a spinning class all through the month of August at Stringtopia up in Lebanon, Ohio, with the lovely Abby Frankmont. That's right. Because I've got this Lendrum, double treadle Lendrum, that my daddy bought me back in May at Maryland Sheep and Wool, and I'm still having problems figuring out how to draft, and I'm still having problems with the fiber breaking everywhere. So it's worth it to me to have Abby set me straight, because she's smart. She's got all this wisdom. So I'm excited about that. And we'll see if there's any info I can pass on to you. But I'm excited because she did great teaching me on the spindle. So I know she'll do great teaching me on the wheel. And in preparation, celebration of signing up for the class, because the class is like 3 hours long, I knew that I was going to need a beverage while I'm there. So I bought this on Etsy the other day. It is a cup holder that goes right on my Lendrum. And this is from FBN Plastics, and they are on Etsy. Let's see, I ordered this on Friday and got it today. So it takes about a week to get it. So that was exciting. And then I also signed up for Hobbledehoy's Summer Nerdy Knit-Along, Sail-Along. And there were 3 different things that you could pick from. You could pick from Game of Thrones, you could pick from Star Trek, you could pick from Big Bang Theory, or Doctor Who. And of course I went with Game of Thrones. And so if you are international and you don't have yours yet, then cover your eyes for the next, 2 to 3 minutes. But this is the Ygritte bat, and it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. So what is in it? Merino wool, tussa silk, bamboo, sari silk, tencel, and silver sparkle. And there are 3... Oh, can I open this? Oh, I'm going to pull them all out. There are 3 batlings, and then there are 3 other coordinating mini ones. So we have, this is much darker than it's turning out. Let's see. It's darker. It's very rich. Purpley. Yeah, that's kind of better, but there's more blue in there. So this and this, which is actually more teal. Come on. And then we've got this nice fiery orange right there. And then, oh, it's so sparkly. Just awesome golds and whites with extra little fuzzy colors going in. Here's a bigger version of the red, and it has some pinks in it. So I'm in love. Oh, it's so soft. So soft. This is the first time I took it out of the bag. And then this is beautiful. Okay. This is a lot lighter than it's turning out, but it is a very, very soft light blue. And then look at that. This is like the color of Egret's hair. It's awesome. So that's another reason why I'm psyched about getting my spinning lessons from Miss Abby, is because then I'll be able to spin all kinds of pretty stuff. My major goal is to be able to spin sock weight yarn. And then from that, be able to knit my dad a pair of socks by Christmas, since he bought me the wheel. I figure that would be cool to spin up yarn and then knit a pair of socks for him. That came from the wheel. So I think he'll like that. And then of course, I cannot resist the call of Heather from Highland Handmaids fiber. So this is Jungle Book, and it's Falkland. And I just love the colorways. And you all know I'm not a huge fan of purple. But with this, it just seems right. So, oh, so soft, so soft. So, do I have anything else to talk about? I don't remember. I'm ramping up for knitting in the mitten. I just PM'd somebody and asked if they wanted to be my roommate. And I got rejected because she's a smoker. And I think the solution for this is for her to stop smoking. It's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to stop smoking. And I know, because I've stopped smoking many times and started back up. I have not smoked since 2002. So 11 years. But it wasn't easy. So anybody who tries, more power to you, because it's tough. It's very, very tough. Very tough. My dad is still a smoker, and he's been trying to quit for eons and eons and eons. So I know what it's like. But but anyway, I asked this person because I'm kind of weird. And I thought she'd be able to handle my weird. So we'll see what happens. If you're going to knit in the mitten, and you think you can handle my weird, you let me know. What I'm saying is, I'm weird. I have a lot of odd habits. But I think other people have odd habits, so I know what I can tolerate. Anyway. Um, so as you've noticed, I made a lot of purchases. And as you may have noticed a couple of weeks ago, I was in a total freak out zone. I mean, it's not any more basic than that in its description. Just total freak out. But ever since we got the news that his surgery, my husband's surgery, is too risky to do, and that they will probably have to wait a year, that means that he's back to business. He's back to working. And back to work is always a good thing. Always a good thing, right? Right. So he's back to work, and I'm not quite as worried about things. Although, yes, we do still need to save up and prepare for when he does have the surgery. But in the meantime, as you may recall, the 3 or 4 days before he went to the emergency room, he had been written about very positively in the New York Times. So for him to get sick right after such high praise in the New York Times was kind of scary, because he couldn't really respond to stuff because he was feeling junky. But now that he's back, he is getting a lot of business, which is good, which is very good. It would be great if I was doing more business. But in the meantime, I still help him out with his stuff, because a lot of it can get really tedious. So when it's just like database entry, I help. I help when I can. So he's got new clients. He's sending in proposals to other people, and just a couple of hours ago, we found out that he's going to be working on a site for something that is going to be announced at the New York Comic Con. So, pretty excited about that. And the people that he's doing the site for are going to redo his logo for him, and then they are going to redo my Sheep Dreamery logo. So I'm really excited about that. As you may notice, my Sheep Dreamery logo is very, what's a good way to describe it? You know, it's not full of whimsy, it's just kind of standard and kind of right there. So I actually took the picture that I use for my sheep. I took that from a picture that was done back in the early 1800s of a sheep. So, and I did that because I was broke and it was easy to do, to just gank a picture that had no copyright on it and then use that, and then incorporate like the font and stuff. I still love that font. That font is a font that is used in the credits and titles for Moonrise Kingdom, which is a Wes Anderson movie, one of my favorite movies. I love Wes Anderson movies. Very much, very much. So hopefully I'm going to keep the font, and then, I don't know, we're gonna work on it, figure things out. What else? I'm posting a lot of pictures on Instagram, and That's basically where I am. If you're looking for me online, I'm on Instagram. Just putting up pictures or giving you a little heart for your picture. I'm hardly ever on Plurk anymore. Sorry. Let me get a sip real quick. Oh, okay. I have a story to tell you. In this house, once a year, my husband is allowed to make a huge mistake. What I mean by that is that he can decide something and I will do my best not to give him crap about it for the year. Because he will also realize what a huge mistake it was. So, like, what was it? 2010, is that when it was? Because my foot was still broken, and it was my right foot, and I couldn't drive, he sold my Jeep. And to this day, we only have one vehicle. And he recognized almost immediately what a huge mistake that was. Also because he didn't consult me about it. So when he made that error, I was like, okay, that's your big mistake of the year. And so every year after that, he's made one admittedly mistake. One year it was deciding to get direct TV instead of sticking with Time Warner cable. And so this year, his mistake so far is that he is turning my children's rooms into offices. So for me, it kind of like freaks me out because empty nest. Empty nest. It's a permanent way of saying, kids, if you come over, you're sleeping between the hot water heater and the washing machine. But one of the plans is to get an IKEA futon and put that in the rooms. But still, I was just like, okay, you do whatever. Pushing my children out of the house, how dare you? And so his next feat in this series of things that are happening is that he is going to be repainting the rooms. I've never seen him paint a wall before, ever. And the last time I painted walls, my blue walls, I broke my foot. That's how I broke my foot. Because I was standing on a rolling chair, which was on top of plastic tarp. And when I went to step down, the chair rolled out from underneath of me and I messed up a lot of bones in my foot. It was called a Les Franck injury. Napoleon's doctor named it. Most people get it by getting off of a horse improperly. I think that is how Napoleon's doctor discovered what it is. It's a whole bunch of bones that need to be put back together. So, anyway, basically he kicked my children out of the house and now he's painting the walls. But they were here the other day and they helped him move everything down to the basement. So, they're not really here all that much anymore, which is kind of sad, but they're growing up. And when I was their age, I was married, living an estate I hated, and I was pregnant. So, I guess I shouldn't expect that they're going to be over here. Plus, they both have jobs that keep them all the way on the other side of town. So, sad. Plus, my one son said that he likes sleeping on the living room couch anyway. So, okay. Alright. So, that's what happens in motherhood. That's how it goes. For all of you who just have toddlers and stuff. That's how it goes. That's how I'm coping. A little sad. I am not ready for grandchildren. Not. I am enjoying my freedom. My free freedom. It's kind of nice in that aspect that I don't have to do school related things anymore. I don't have to be polite to people who get on my nerves that are also on the PTA, etc. So, like, weird school politics, I'm so glad I'm done with that. So glad. I'm glad I was able to be there for my children when they were going through all of that, but I'm glad it's done. And if you have the chance to do it for your kids, you should. Because when it's over, on their graduation day of the last baby graduating, you will just have this rush of freedom. You will be clapping harder than anybody else in that room. Because you're never going to have to see most of these people ever again. That's how I feel. Okay. And my last thing, I got inspired while I was listening to somebody else's podcast, and I think I have a design for something. So I am going to try to figure out how to make it, and then write it up in real sketchy terms, and then I will see if anybody wants to do some test knitting for me. Like, I have the idea in my head, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. So now I just have to figure out if I can actually design it and make it without it looking herp derp. That's my challenge. Like, I could draw it on a piece of paper and be like, yeah, that looks good, but to actually figure out dimensions for things, I'm gonna have to get smart. So, that is it for this week. I will be back next week, barring any weird emergencies. And I hope y'all have a great week. So, buy some yarn. Get it off of Etsy for me. Bye.